The first time I came to Mexico was in the 1970s, and 41 years later, here I am finally living full-time in Mexico.
Hey, Jen Max, you just met Ellen. Her and her husband, Michael, moved here just a couple of years ago to La Paz, to El Centenario, the community that I live in just outside La Paz. And we're going to hear her story of being, I guess, almost retired, not quite retired, still working. And we'll talk about what she does, and also her journey from when she was 14 years old, first discovering Mexico, and then finally making it happen here just a couple of years ago. So let's start out the story kind of in the beginning, and then we'll work our way forward.
I first lived in Mexico as a teenager, 2 summers for 2 months each. I lived in the state of Oaxaca, in the capital, and I lived with an American family, but also a Mexican family that lived on the property as the caretakers. And it was a pretty impressionable time for me. I was coming from outside of Chicago, where I grew up. And it was the first time in my life I was seeing people that were so poor they could not afford shoes. And something just clicked for me because I realized there was a much bigger world outside of the Chicago North Shore. I didn't realize at the time, but I guess it became a lifelong dream for me to come back and just become part of the Mexican fabric through the language, the culture, the art, to just experience something other than the culture in which I was raised.
Okay, so now we're going to jump forward in this story to just before moving here full time, what she was up to.
We were living in Seattle, Washington, where we had lived for 20 some odd years. And it was about 2018 when I said to him, I'm not going to live through another 4 years of the person who's currently in the White House. And we talked about it. We tried to decide, okay, where should we move? And we couldn't figure that out. So we decided, okay, well, we know where we don't want to move. So let's just let the universe tell us or speak to us and let us know where to go next. And Mexico had always been on my list of places. Again, it was a dream to come back as an adult, a fully fledged adult. And we were coming back from a show that I did as a jewelry designer in Sedona, Arizona. We stopped in the San Francisco Bay Area to see our good friends who had already made the decision where they were going to go, but we did not at that point know it. We figured it out one night when our friend Katil was showing us videos of the property they had just bought out here in El Centenario. That's part of the community Villas del Centenario. We started looking at these videos and we started thinking, this might be the universe talking to us. And on the remaining drive back to Seattle from San Francisco, my husband and I, we just kind of both looked at each other and said, yeah, the universe is talking to us. So we flew down 4 months later and we came and we checked everything out and we decided, well, for me, okay, it's not Oaxaca, but one of our concerns was that we wanted to be near the ocean. And we also wanted to be in driving distance of the United States. And so in 2022, we came down for 6 months and we lived in our friend's house and watched our own home being built.
And it is a gorgeous house. We're definitely going to do a tour of the house and talk about Spanish and safety and the things that I normally do. But I'm starting to think like Seattle to La Paz is a pretty big change. We live part-time in Portland, Oregon, and part-time in La Paz, but we spend our summers down here, our summers up there and our winters down here and avoid all that rain. So let's hear about that move, that big change.
Yes, let's talk about rain. In Seattle, I was okay for about 15 years. And then the gray skies, that's what started to get on my nerves and to really grate on me. I grew up outside of Chicago, where in the wintertime, you can have snow, you can have rain, you can have wind, but you can also have blue skies with sunshine. And the lack of that sunshine in Seattle, that's what finally drove me to the point of saying, I can't live here anymore in the wintertime. It was just getting to be too much, and getting to be too much for someone who also suffers from depression.
Well, that is the perfect transition into the partnership side of this video. I wanted to mention that this video is in paid partnership with BetterHelp. Their online therapists are available almost anywhere in the world by phone, messaging, and video chat. If you've followed my videos for any amount of time, you probably know that I have worked with a therapist through BetterHelp during my time in Mexico. My therapist is in the UK, and it's really great to have someone to talk to who is unbiased and a kind ear who I can chat with through weekly video chats. If you'd like to give it a try, you can get 10% off your first month by using my link, betterhelp.com/almost-retired. Over 4 million people have already used BetterHelp to start living a happier, healthier life. But now let's get back to Ellen and how her life got happier and healthier when moving to Mexico.
Our house was finished a year ago, and we had to go back to Seattle to sell the house that we had lived in for 20 plus years on Queen Anne, for those of you who know the Seattle area. We sold the house fairly quickly. We needed to liquidate a lot of our possessions because, frankly, we moved into a much smaller place and we knew we didn't need to keep all this stuff. And so we returned, and now we're here full time. Or at least speaking for myself, I am elated to be living in the sun. And on the few days when we do have clouds, it's okay, because I know that sunshine is just around the corner. And so is a quick trip to our favorite beach on the Sea of Cortez.
Like many people, Ellen isn't willing to disclose where her favorite beach is, and a lot of us have that. But she is willing to disclose more about finances. So, like, about how much this house costs and what she's going through, like what monthly expenses look like here compared to Seattle.
Okay, so I will share that the house here cost, give or take, $500,000, and that our monthly expenses now have been cut by 2/3. And that includes what we might have to spend to visit a doctor. Medical expenses here are definitely less than the United States. And one of the perks of being in Mexico is that if you come down with, say, a bad cold, you can pretty much go to any pharmacy here and see a medical doctor and get treated for approximately $40 to $50 US.
So yeah, $40 to $50. I think, that would, at a pharmacy doctor, that probably includes the medication that you need. Maybe if you're going to a doctor's office, you could probably see a specialist for $60 or something, and maybe a doctor for around $40 or something like that. So doctors here are kind of similar in cost to what copays are in the United States. And you even often will get a follow-up visit with that. So continuing on the topic of money, let's look at the other side of the balance sheet of where the money is coming in from.
My husband and I, we both have Social Security. We also have investments, and then I have income from my jewelry business. And right now, I am only selling in Mexico because I haven't figured out how to combat the tariffs for sending jewelry back to the United States.
Yes, those tariffs definitely causing lots of confusion. And as soon as you figure them out, I'm sure they will change again. But let's talk more about the jewelry business. I saw these guys out at Tiki Todd's in the parking lot there. They have a Sunday market. So let's hear more about the business.
I used to work in the legal profession in both the Bay Area and a little bit in Seattle. I worked for plaintiff personal injury lawyers and on the insurance defense side doing litigation. And so I was always in a pressure cooker. And I got to the point where I said, okay, I can't do this anymore. And when my husband and I moved to Seattle, I knew that I would be taking a huge cut in pay So that's when I opened my jewelry business and I went full time. And that included getting a degree in gemology from the Gemological Institute of America. So I know what I'm doing when I buy gemstones, and I incorporate pretty good stuff into my silver and minimal gold jewelry work. It was a huge transition, but I grew up in a family of artists, so it wasn't that great. I mean, I always had my hands in something as a kid, whether it was painting, drawing, weaving, ceramics. And moving down here has given me the opportunity to fully focus on my jewelry work.
She really does have gorgeous jewelry. So I'm going to link down below to her Instagram and Facebook pages, so you'll be able to click down there to see more. But let's switch gears and talk about this house. It is a really gorgeous house built by Baja Custom Homes. Carlos, you've seen him on the channel before. So let's see the house, and then we're going to go on and talk about Spanish and safety and some other things.
My house was built by Carlos Valero. As Brighton said, you can find a link in his spread here. We decided that we would build a house dedicated to light, color, and Mexican artesanía, which is Mexican arts and crafts. So when you walk in my house, there's a hallway, and then there's 2 bedrooms, one on either side with a bathroom. And then we have the main living space with this dining room. And then there's a lovely small laundromat or laundry room. And then there's the master bath with a bedroom.
So what Ellen skipped over was the view, looking out. Just, she mentioned the light. There's just glass all along the side of the house that faces La Paz and the Bay of La Paz. So a gorgeous view from up here, and a swimming pool.
So yes, Brighton, I have a lap pool. It's 50 feet long and it's 10 feet wide. And I swim laps every day. And I love it. I am totally into swimming. I have been for 40 some odd years. And it's great exercise, but also it's essential for living here in the summer.
So I do wonder, because a lot of people, most people here in La Paz don't heat their pools in the winter. But if you're going to use your pool in the winter, you need at least a little bit of heat. So let's hear about that.
The ideal temperature for a lap swimmer is about 79 or 80 degrees. Anything warmer is too hot, but anything cooler makes it a little hard to swim for 40 or 50 minutes. So my pool is heated, and it is heated with electricity that is fed by our solar panels on top of our garage. And it also has a cover that is essential to prevent too much evaporation of the water. And that makes it ideal for swimming in the winter and, well, basically throughout the year.
Okay, so let's switch gears once again and hear about Spanish language skills.
Okay, when I lived in Oaxaca, one of my goals was to speak Spanish fluently. And I'm an audio learner, so I had done all the hard work of memorizing and learning the grammar. But then I was part of a family, and I was hearing Spanish all day long. And I just jumped in and I started talking, and I didn't worry about if I was making mistakes because I knew that people would correct me, which they did. And I was able to become part of the fabric of a Mexican family. For me, Spanish, it's my second skin. My brain goes back and forth all day long. Sometimes I don't even know what's going to come out of my mouth. I recognize that it's not easy for some people, but for me, it has allowed me to become part of a Mexican family, like I said, in Oaxaca, and to have Mexican friends. And it just really enriches my life. And I don't know what I would do if I was living here without Spanish, because I've also been in some situations where it was essential for me to have Spanish skills, like keeping a cop from taking a bribe. And that has happened on 2 occasions. But also when it comes to building a house and having to deal with the subcontractors to come and take care of repairs, it is essential that I speak Spanish. Otherwise, you have to rely on other people. And if you're relying on other people, you don't necessarily know what's being said or what's being done.
Yeah, it's interesting. Just this week, we had someone who came over to be a translator for us, talking with a neighbor because we're planning a meeting. And you could tell that he wasn't translating. I know enough Spanish to tell that he was translating slightly different than what we were saying. So it's definitely frustrating because if you can't speak directly to someone, then and you don't speak any Spanish, you won't know when something is being communicated correctly or something is being missed. But let's switch gears once again and hear about safety.
I would really like to live in Oaxaca, but Oaxaca is not necessarily in safe driving distance. Here in La Paz, we don't have to drive through areas where the cartels are active, like the state of Sinaloa, the state of Guerrero, which is another state that's had a lot of problems with the cartels. Those are 2 of the states we'd have to drive through to get to Oaxaca. Another issue here for me in La Paz is that I feel totally safe as a Jewish woman. I do not feel that in the United States anymore.
So yeah, Mexico is a very accepting place, accepting of others. And I think the U.S. is becoming less and less so. But let's transition as we get ready to finish out this video. I want to hear Ellen's tip, whatever tip she has that is just perfect for you.
My tip is this. You need to ask yourself this question. Do I want to become a part of Mexico, or do I want to live apart from Mexicans? You need to do your research. And you need to ask yourself genuinely, do I want to become a lover of Mexican culture or an antagonist?
I think that is great advice. If you want to be an antagonist, do not come. It makes all of us look bad. And it also just doesn't work out for people who aren't willing to kind of accept Mexican culture and assimilate at least somewhat. Things just don't work out in your favor the way you expect them to work. And a lot of those people, that's one of the reasons that people leave, is they came here expecting this to be just United States at 2/3 the cost. And it's not. It's very different. It is more affordable, but it is a completely different culture, completely different laws, completely different way of living. So with that, I am going to wrap up this video. So I've got more videos up here of other folks who've made it happen. So you can watch their videos and be inspired to make the move yourself. So from La Paz, wish you were here. Hasta luego.